Man walks his dogs every morning until people discover he is hiding an unbelievable secret. When people saw this man walking his pack of 6 German Shepherds without leashes, they were left in awe at the blind obedience the dogs were displaying. Some of them even thought that the man was mistreating the dogs into submission, but when they finally discovered his secret, they were both shocked and amazed. In the streets of Hyannis, Massachusetts, when people first saw Augusto de Oliveira, they were deeply impressed. A young man in his early 20s walking with an impressive group of German Shepherds. The dogs were huddled close together, and it was immediately apparent that they were functioning as a unit, displaying remarkable cohesion and discipline. In the middle stood Augusto, their proud owner, who clearly felt like the leader of the pack. This incredible display of strength coupled with absolute obedience was mesmerizing and, of course, attracted the attention of numerous passers-by. The more they tried to figure out how Augusto had achieved this result, the more suspicious the situation seemed to them. Many of them were dog owners themselves, but none of them had ever managed to train their dogs the way Augusto had done with his pack of German Shepherds. Even experienced dog trainers and animal experts found it difficult to understand how these dogs could move so smoothly under such unusual conditions. When a passerby finally dared to get closer to the pack, he discovered something incredible. None of the German Shepherds wore a leash, yet they moved like a perfectly coordinated team, as if they were connected to each other with invisible ropes, similar to a team of sled dogs. Each dog knew its place and followed the commands of Augusto's voice. None of the German Shepherds seemed to care about other dogs they encountered on their walks. They completely ignored the barking of other dogs. All of their attention was on their pack and their owner. People stared in awe at Augusto and his dogs on their daily forays through the streets and parks of Hyannis. Some were so impressed by this extraordinary behavior that they often asked to take a photo with them. With a single command, Augusto was able to get the dogs to stop abruptly and pose for a photo. Once the fans were satisfied, Augusto blew the whistle and the dogs lined up again. Within a very short time, the young man and his pack became the talk of the town. Rumors were spread behind closed doors that something strange was going on. Some neighbors and passers-by were very suspicious of the man who only surrounded himself with his dogs. Few people visited his house, and he seemed to have no human friends. In the evenings, self-appointed investigators spent hours outside his apartment, peering through the curtains and listening for any clue that might explain how such a gentleman got all those wild dogs to obey him. They suspected he was abusing them to keep them submissive, and some even searched his trash cans to expose him. One of these neighbors was a curious lady who had dedicated her life to saving stray animals. She was convinced that Augusto was using electric shock collars to force his dogs to obey. The same woman went around the neighborhood gathering support for a petition. She wanted the authorities to get involved and investigate this allegedly abusive dog owner. Augusto himself remained extremely secretive when asked about his training methods. Unconsciously, his reticence helped fuel mistrust. At best, he revealed that it had required a lot of dedication and patience. It was no secret that he had dedicated his life to becoming an expert dog trainer. Augusto grew up with German Shepherds. These dogs have a strong protective instinct and do not hesitate to sacrifice their lives in defense of their loved ones. Everyone could see that this pack would protect Augusto with their lives. But this unconditional loyalty was ultimately what led the police to make the allegations to investigate possible animal abuse in more detail. In some people's eyes, it seemed impossible that these dogs were simply obedient because they respected Augusto. Her owner must have used sinister torture methods to force her into this unconditional obedience. Although Augusto had made a new life in Massachusetts, he had grown up in Brazil. As a boy, he was surrounded by German Shepherds and immediately took a keen interest in animal behavior. By chance, he discovered that he had a natural ability to influence their behavior. However, when police officers entered his home, they were stunned by what they found. Augusto and his dogs led a unique lifestyle. There were no signs of kennels where Griffin, Harmony, Jenna, Priscilla, Hannah, and Savannah slept. Instead, the dogs all shared a bed with Augusto. No couch or carpet was off limits for Augusto's loyal companions. Since the police didn't know what to do next, they called in animal experts who closely observed Augusto for a few days. They analyzed his every action and thoroughly inspected the apartment. After a few days, her report was ready. The good news was that police found no signs of neglect or abuse of the German Shepherds. On the contrary, these animals lived like they were in a dog paradise. Although the police and animal control services appreciated the vigilant citizens who were concerned about the welfare of the endangered dogs, this particular case had proven to be a complete false alarm. The dogs Augusto owned were treated like royalty and given the best food and care. Their owner loved them like his own children. Although the man was outraged at how little people thought of him, he remained undeterred. He founded Griffin Shepherd Kennels, where he dedicated his time and effort to training dogs. Many dog owners sent their puppies to Augusto, and within weeks they had well-behaved, fully trained dogs that could easily adapt to small apartments or other environments. More recently, he even ventured into the streets of Boston, where his dogs still behaved extremely disciplined despite the added noise and a completely different environment. His methods have earned him an extraordinary reputation and made him an internet sensation since 2013, when one of his videos went viral.